All right. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
Awesome. Today, we're going to be digging into Pawbiotix.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's that probiotic for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they've got this website. It's got a ton of information about it.
Yeah.
Ingredients, the benefits. They've even got testimonials from, like, you know, dog owners all over the place.
Lots of anecdotal evidence.
Right, exactly. So we're going to, you know, try to sort through all of that and figure out, is this stuff the real deal? Or is it just, you know, all bark and no bite?
Right.
That's what we're here to find out. So just to kind of set the stage.
Yeah.
Pawbiotix is, it's a liquid probiotic that's meant to be given every day.
Sure.
And, you know, they really make some big claims.
Yeah, they do.
They say it balances the gut bacteria, helps with digestion, boosts the immune system.
Right. The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, like all kinds of stuff. So, you know, of course, the big question is,
of course,
is there actually any evidence to back any of this up?
Right. Got to separate the marketing from the science for sure.
Exactly. And, you know, their website, it really does paint a pretty glowing picture.
It does. They really highlight, you know, it's all natural, non-GMO, bacon flavored.
Yeah. They even have a money back guarantee.
Oh, wow.
Which, you know, always makes you wonder, right?
It does.
It's like, are they that confident or are they just, you know, trying to get people to try it?
Right. Exactly.
So I guess, we'll have to kind of dig into that as well.
Definitely.
So where should we start with this? Like, how do we even begin to...
Well, I think a good place to start might be with, you know, what exactly are probiotics?
Yeah, that's a good point. So for people who might not be familiar,
right,
what are we even talking about here?
Yeah, so essentially probiotics they're these live microorganisms. And the idea is that when you consume them, they can actually have some beneficial effects on your health.
Okay. And
specifically, a lot of the focus is on the gut microbiome.
Right.
And the idea is that probiotics can help kind of balance out the bacteria that live in your gut.
So we're not just talking about dogs here, right? This is like a...
Right, exactly.
Kind of a broader concept.
Yeah, this is something that, you know, we see with humans as well.
Okay.
You know, probiotics are becoming increasingly popular for all sorts of reasons.
Okay, so we've got these probiotics.
Mm-hmm.
They're these microorganisms. They're supposed to be good for the gut.
Yeah.
And Pawbiotix is claiming that it's doing all this good stuff for dogs.
Right.
So how do they say it's working? Like, what's their
mechanism? Right.
Yeah, what's their sort of explanation for how this is all supposed to happen?
Yeah, so they lay out this, you know, kind of 5-step process on their website, and it's really interesting.
What's that?
They start with, you know, balancing the gut bacteria like we talked about.
Right.
Then they move on to supporting digestion.
Okay.
Then they say it boosts immunity, no side effects, and it even enhances vitality.
Okay, so they're basically claiming that Pawbiotix is like a miracle cure for dogs.
Pretty much, yeah. They're making a lot of big promises.
Right.
And I think, you know, this is where it's really important to start looking at the evidence.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Let's get into that.
Yeah.
So I guess what should we be looking for? Like when we're...
Well, I think a good starting point is to kind of break down each of those claims, you know, one by one.
Right.
And see, is there any scientific research out there that actually supports the idea that probiotics can do these things for dogs?
So not just probiotics in general, but specifically for dogs.
Yeah, because what might work for us, humans, might not necessarily translate to our canine companions.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these specific claims.
Okay.
And I guess one of the things that really jumps out at me on their website is the ingredient list.
Oh, yeah, they've got some interesting stuff in there.
Right, like they've got, you know, organic kelp powder.
Okay.
Chlorella powder, and of course the bacon flavoring.
Gotta have the bacon.
Right. I mean, how could you not?
Exactly.
But I mean, do these things actually do what they're claiming?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, kelp, for instance, it is a good source of iodine.
Okay.
Which is important for thyroid health.
Good.
And they say that, you know, it can help give your dog a shiny coat.
Yeah, I saw that.
But, you know, the research on whether kelp, specifically in this form, and at that dosage, actually has those benefits for dogs, it's pretty limited.
Okay, so it's like they're taking these ingredients that maybe have some benefits, but they're kind of extrapolating that to say that it's going to do all these amazing things for dogs.
Yeah, it's like they're cherry picking the research a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. And what about the chlorella?
Oh, the chlorella. Well, that's known for its detoxifying properties.
Okay.
But again, you know, more research is needed to really determine how effective it is for dogs.
So it's like we're seeing this pattern here.
We are.
Where they're taking these individual ingredients and kind of making these big leaps.
Yeah. And it's not to say that these ingredients aren't good.
Right.
You know, they might have some benefits.
Right.
But we just need more evidence to really say for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole thing about the Bacillus coagulans.
The probiotic strain, right?
Yeah. And they really seem to be emphasizing that.
Yeah, they do. Now, Bacillus coagulans, it is a studied probiotic strain.
Okay.
It's actually used in some human products as well.
Oh, interesting.
But the research on its effectiveness specifically for dogs, for those specific health claims they're making, it's still pretty limited.
So again, we're seeing that same kind of gap between the marketing and the actual scientific evidence.
Exactly. They're highlighting this ingredient, but they're not necessarily providing the research to back up their specific claims.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to see a theme here.
It's a common tactic, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I guess what we really need to do is dig into the research.
Absolutely.
And see if we can find any studies that actually support these claims about Pawbiotix.
Right. And not just studies about the individual ingredients, but studies about this specific product.
Right. With this specific combination of ingredients.
Yeah. Because the way they're formulated together, that can make a big difference.
Okay. Well, it looks like we've got some work to do.
Oh, we do. But that's what these deep dives are all about, right?
That's right. Uncovering the truth.
Exactly.
So listeners, stay tuned. We're just getting started. So we're seeing some gaps here between what Pawbiotix is claiming and what the science actually says.
Right. It definitely seems like we need more evidence to really support those big claims they're making.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess I'm curious, like, even if Pawbiotix, maybe isn't living up to the hype, what do we actually know about probiotics for dogs in general?
Yeah. That's a great question.
Like, is there any evidence that these things can actually be beneficial?
Right.
Or is this all just kind of, bunch of hooey?
Well, the science of canine gut health, it's still pretty young.
Okay.
But it is advancing, rapidly.
Okay.
And what we are learning is that the gut microbiome, it's incredibly complex.
It is, right.
Trillions of bacteria all interacting with each other.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling when you think about it.
It really is. And it plays such a huge role in a dog's overall health. It's not just digestion.
Right.
We're talking about immune function. Even behavior.
Wow. So it really is like this whole kind of ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going on inside their bodies.
It is. And research is actually starting to suggest that probiotics, they can play a role in maintaining that delicate balance.
Okay. So there is some evidence to suggest that probiotics can be helpful for dogs.
Right, for certain things.
Like what?
Well, for example, there's some evidence that certain probiotic strains can help with diarrhea.
Oh, interesting.
Especially in puppies.
Okay.
Or in dogs that are, recovering from antibiotic treatment.
So they can kind of help restore that balance.
Exactly.
After the antibiotics have, kind of wiped everything out.
Right.
Okay, so that's interesting. So it's not like the whole concept of probiotics for dogs is just completely bogus.
No, not at all. But I think the key here is that we have to be very careful about extrapolating, from those general findings to specific products like Pawbiotix.
Right, because there's some evidence that probiotics in general can be helpful. Doesn't necessarily mean that Pawbiotix is the answer.
Exactly. And that's where I think, the money back guarantee comes in.
Oh, yeah. Pawbiotix does offer that, right?
They do. And, it can be tempting to see that as a sign of confidence.
Right. Like they're so sure that it works.
Yeah, exactly.
That they're willing to, give you your money back if it doesn't.
But you have to remember, a money back guarantee, it's not a substitute for scientific evidence.
Right. Okay.
Hey, think about it this way.
Yeah.
You could try Pawbiotix for your dog, see no difference whatsoever, get your money back.
Okay.
But that still doesn't tell you whether the product actually worked.
I see what you mean.
Right. It just means you didn't lose any money.
Right. But you might have lost time and you're still no closer to actually helping your dog.
Exactly. And it also highlights this crucial point that every dog is different.
Oh, right. Of course.
Right. So their gut microbiome. their diet, their overall health.
Yeah.
All of these factors can influence how they respond to a probiotic.
Right. So it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
No, not at all.
So what do you recommend that? Like, what's a dog owner to do? Like, if they're considering Pawbiotix or any other probiotic for that matter.
Right. I think the first and most important step is to talk to your vet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course.
Right. Because they can actually assess your dog's individual needs.
Okay.
Consider any potential risks.
Right.
You know, maybe there are interactions with other medications your dog's taking.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they can really guide you toward the most appropriate solution.
Right.
Which, you know, it might be a specific probiotic.
Okay.
It might be a change in diet.
Right.
It might be something else entirely.
So it's really about that personalized approach.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, you know, it's funny because even though we're talking about Pawbiotix specifically today, it feels like this deep dive is really about, you know, giving listeners the tools
Absolutely.
to evaluate any kind of pet supplement.
Right.
With a critical eye.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's your dog, and you want to make sure you're making the best decisions for their health.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, asking those tough questions,
Yeah.
doing your research, it's all part of being a responsible pet owner.
Absolutely. So speaking of doing research, where can our listeners go?
Oh, good question.
To learn more about, you know, canine gut health and probiotics.
Yeah. So besides talking to your vet,
right, of course,
there are actually some fantastic resources out there.
Oh, great. Like what?
Well, the American Veterinary Medical Association.
Okay.
They have a great website.
Right.
Lots of good information there. A lot of veterinary schools also have online resources specifically for pet owners.
All right. So those are probably pretty reliable sources.
Yeah, those are good places to start. And there are also, you know, some reputable organizations out there that are dedicated to canine health research.
Okay.
So you can look into those as well. But always remember, be a savvy consumer of information.
That's a good point.
Right. Look for sources that are backed by science and research, not just marketing hype.
It's like anything online these days, right?
Yeah.
You really got to kind of filter through all the noise.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good advice. So I guess to kind of bring this all back to Pawbiotix, it seems like they've kind of opened up this whole can of worms, so to speak.
They have. And you know, it's interesting because while, you know, we might need more research to really know for sure about their specific product, they are contributing to this growing awareness about the importance of gut health for dogs.
Right. So at least they're getting people thinking about it.
Exactly. And that's a good thing.
Right.
Because, you know, as we learn more about the canine gut microbiome, we're moving beyond just treating illness.
Okay.
We're actually starting to understand how to proactively support our dog's health.
It's like shifting from a reactive approach to a preventative one.
Exactly. And understanding the gut microbiome seems like a really fundamental part of that.
That's really cool. I mean, it's amazing to think that something as tiny as
I know, right?
These little microorganisms can have such a big impact.
Such impact
on our dog's overall health.
Absolutely.
So it seems like Pawbiotix has opened up a whole can of worms, so to speak.
They have.
We've got these intriguing ingredients, promising claims, but the science, it's just not quite there yet.
It really isn't.
For the product itself.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's a good reminder that marketing and science don't always go hand in hand.
And they don't always see eye to eye.
They don't, and it's easy to get caught up in the hype.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to our pets, you know? We want the best for them.
Right, and we're willing to, you know, kind of believe things that sound good.
Absolutely, but we really have to be careful because at the end of the day, it's our dog's health that's at stake.
And I guess that's what this whole deep dive has really been about, right?
It's
about, you know, encouraging people to think critically, do their research.
Absolutely.
And not just take things at face value.
Right. Especially when it comes to something as important as our dog's health.
Exactly. So to kind of wrap things up, it seems like with Pawbiotix, we've got this product that has some potentially beneficial ingredients.
Right.
But the research on its overall effectiveness, just, you know, we need more. We need more evidence to really
research.
say for sure.
Yeah, and I think the other big takeaway here is that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the canine gut microbiome, it's this incredibly...
It's fascinating.
It's fascinating, it's complex, it's a whole world in there.
Right, and it plays such a crucial role in their overall health.
It does.
Yeah.
And probiotics, you know, they have the potential to really make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be smart about it, right?
Yeah.
We have to do our research, we have to talk to our vets, and we have to make sure we're making the best decisions for our furry friends.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up another deep dive.
I think so.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive
Yeah.
into a fascinating topic.
Sounds good.
All right. Until then, keep those brains buzzing,
Keep learning.
and we'll see you soon.
See ya.